Hi everyone, my name is Sylvana Spence. I'm a first grade teacher in North Florida. I have a bachelor's in early childhood education and a master's in curriculum and instruction. I've been using ESGI for about 4 years. On this presentation, lead small groups and parents communication with ESGI. I'm going to go over relationships, teacher-parent relationship communication, compassion, ESGI. How do I use ESGI in my small groups? So let's jump right in. Our learning objectives. Establish healthy relationships with parents. Use ESGI to communicate data. How to use ESGI to schedule conferences. How to use ESGI to group students. But we're going to start with relationships first because relationships matter. Before the school year had started, I remember receiving a phone call from Isabella's teacher. Isabella is my youngest daughter, introducing herself and asking if I had any questions or concerns. I thought that was the most thoughtful thing that she could have done because I was so nervous. I was worried, but that phone call gave me so much peace. And that's what we as educators can do to ease the anxiety of parents and even our own. It breaks the ice and opens doors to a great start. So, in relationships with parents, here are a few suggestions. Call new parents. This is a great opportunity to hear from them and bring them the peace they need and get to know a bit more about their child before meet the teacher, which is usually quite busy. When you make a phone call to the parent, it's very personable and they have time, a one-on-one time with you as an educator, as their child's teacher. Do to others what you would like them done to you. It's a golden rule that brings to joy to both parties. How would you like your child's teacher to do great things for your child, right? You treat other people's children the way you want your own child to be treated. How are you planning to connect to your parents? You can use the school phone, you can use Google Voice to make a phone call, and your number will still be private. And that way, the parents can always reach you. No worries. When you cannot answer the phone, it goes straight to voicemail, which is also a way that they can reach you. And you can also use the Google Voice as a text, which gives you a number, a private number, and they can text you on that number too. So that way, parents know that there are more than one way to communicate with you besides email. I'm not sure if you use Dojo, but you would have also Google Voice that they can call and speak to you. Parent involvement. Most working parents would love to have the opportunity to spend some time with their kids at school. As teachers, we can provide those special opportunities so they can volunteer. How does volunteering look like during this time? At least in my school, volunteers are not allowed in the building until all this COVID situation passes and goes really far away. So volunteering in the virtual classroom, because I am teaching virtually and remotely. Quizlet, vocabulary helper. I had a parent last year that was so helpful. She, every time that I received a new worksheet, because we work as a team and we pass it on, the vocabulary worksheet to the students, I would pass it to her. She would input all the words, she would prepare all the words into Quizlet and send me a link. And that link I would share with all the other parents so the students could practice. That is just one thing that she took out of my shoulders and that I could delegate for her to do it. And it was excellent. So we can do things like that in the virtual classroom. And if you are in brick and mortar too, you could have parents to help out in that manner. Mystery reader, that is another way that you can have somebody involved, either parents or grandparents if they're far away and they would love, to surprise their grandchildren. That is a great way. Inviting parents to teach a science lesson. That is fun because you can have your child with you and teach a lesson. Kids are going to be so proud to have that kind of participation in their parents, chiming in, teaching a lesson, and they are along with it. Cooking show. That is another fun idea, that brings engagement once again. And kids enjoy it. It's a hands-on experience. Although the parents are going to be at home with their child participating, but the other kids can also be working in their respective places. Now, I would like to share with you my 3 C's. The progress of the world will call for the best that all of us have to give. Mary Bethune. The 3 C's stand for compassion, consistency, communication. Here are the 3 important points to focus on. Be compassionate towards my students, towards their families, my own family, and others. That is a special skill to have because, especially during this time, we need to give ourselves and we need to give the parents and the kids grace and a lot of compassion because we are all in this together. Be consistent. Of positive practice is essential to maintain a peaceful relationship with parents. Consistency is the key. It's very difficult for parents that have a schedule and to function in disarray. So consistency of organization is the key to have a successful relationship with parents, either through weekly schedules that you would send them, either through newsletters, but a consistent routine that they know what to expect. Communication. Communication also needs consistency, and it's never too much. The more informed parents are, better it is to strengthen teacher-parent partnership with a common goal, which is to support the whole child. What things have you listed for you to work on? So we're going to tap it in about ESGI. How do I use ESGI in my classroom? How to use ESGI to maintain effective teacher-parent communication, be specific about students' progress, show data, review assessment areas of strengths and weaknesses, reach parents providing information on their language, editing parent message. We're going to go over that. But here it is an activity for you to reflect. Use the reflection worksheet to write your reflection notes down. What are some things you will change regarding teacher-parent interaction? Here is a worksheet for you. Teacher-parent interaction plan, a light bulb for you to write down all the ideas that you have. And what are the misconceptions that you have or fears that you might have? You write next to the puzzle. How we can deconstruct these misconceptions and make sure that we develop a very healthy relationship. Now, I would like to share with you how I lead my small groups. Small group schedule sample. So here it is, my small group schedule, right? For you to see. I have teacher table, iReady, Zern, Prodigy, which the kids absolutely love it. And I have teacher table twice because that way I can maximize working with the students and making sure that we can reach the goal that they're supposed to reach. And also, they love ABC. It's really fun. How does it sound like? Looks like? What are the activities? So the students sounds like students are discussing the content. They're talking, they're participating, they are engaged. They're explaining, they're demonstrating, they're using drawings, they are using graphics. What does it look like? Students have their folders, notebooks, and dry erase mini boards. We use boards a lot, like response boards. So especially now that I'm teaching virtually, so I ask the students write down their answer and boards up. Activities. What other activities do we do? We have been working on literature circles, which I absolutely love. It's a great activity to utilize during small group instruction because the students interact throughout their discussion time and they have to think because they have different roles. So that allows the students to have a turn and to make sure that they are heard and that they are contributing to their team. Or we can also use math circles or math workshop. It's another great activity to implement during centers. So, a small group in the virtual classroom. The students, just like in brick and mortar, they are on mute. They were supposed to be silent when the teacher is talking, right? That's the expectation. Waiting for directions. Each group level are able to perform certain tasks with or without prompting. Students are on their computer. What does it look like? They're all on their computer. They're home at this time because we're teaching virtually on a designated channel or breakout rooms because it depends on the platform that you're teaching. I teach using Microsoft Teams. You might use Schoology or you might use Zoom. It, it depends. But for Zoom, I know that you would have breakout rooms. In Microsoft Teams, we have channels. So I open different channels where the students are going to be. I use 3 devices. One main device, which is for my general meeting, where I can be watching, where I have the schedule posted, and the kids can see which center they're supposed to go and the time. And I have a device where I can see the students in that particular channel. Since I am showing their schedule, I have another device so I can see the students. My other device has the groups that I'm working on. So with that device, I can establish my meetings with them. And if I would like to see them, for example, if I'm sharing an activity that they're supposed to do, like the one that I have over here, which is in scavenger hunt, that is a big hit. Students absolutely love it. That is very engaging and they get so excited to participate. So if I am presenting the scavenger hunt, then I would take, let's say, my phone and I would be able to see and talk to them without changing the screens all the time. So now I'm going to walk you through how I use ESGI for my small groups and for my parent conference. So here it is. This is the home page where you're going to see all the subjects on the very top, right? Here on your left side, you have all the groups. So for you to make a group, you click on the plus sign, write the group name, select the students, and the students are going to come to this field over here. So let's say I'm going to make a group, a pink group, right? And I'm going to select these students, move and save. And it's going to show right over here. There it is. So how does that work? all the assessments that I have already done with the students. These assessments are going to show here, and it's going to give me the detail about where I'm supposed to work with them, what they're missing out, right? What do they need to improve? How am I going to share that with the parent? I'm going to come to Parent Conferencer, and I'm going to schedule here our conferences, as you can see here for Logan Brown. The date, the time, and if I want to edit, there it is, I can edit. If I want to send a remind letter, I can write the remind letter right over here. And if I want to change the language, which is so helpful for ELL parents and students, I can click on Spanish and voila, it is translated automatically to you. Put it back in English and close. Now we're going back to the home page where I'm going to show you a little more detail of how we do this. So on your right side, you click on Parent Letter. Here, I have already selected one student, but if you want to print all the parents for all the students, you can. You just click All. All the tests that they have done is going to come with a breakdown to you, detailed, and you can send that home. Since we are doing it virtually, I can just download and email that to the parent. So here it shows the subject. If I want to switch subject, I can switch. I'm going to click on the message, and here it is. If I would like to edit, you click Edit, you double check the message, make sure that is the correct name of the student, click Save, and close, and there it is. So in this letter it's important. Why? Because if I'm discussing progress monitoring with the parent, I have detailed information about his test. So here it is. When the parent looks at the letter, I have here a brief explanation of what the parent might see. And here all the tests break down in detail the standard, and it's showing you also what they not the standard but what they got correct. If you would like to add standards, you can do that. These tests, you can also use your district test. You can add your own tests and the tests from the district, which will come with standards. Here is showing you what they got incorrect, the date, and all the details. This is for math, and you can have all the details for reading too. So let's say here, I'm going to click again, parent letter, the message. I'm going to change subjects so you can see how does it look like. View parent letter, and here it is, segmenting and all the details from the test. If you would like to add sections, you can do that. You can use according to your needs and according to the needs of your students. This way, you can plan the conferences with the parents, you can plan your group, how you're going to work with the students, and you can have assessments here to work with that particular group. Another important tool that ESGI offers to you on this page, as you can see over here, you have flashcards, you have bingo, and student detail and student progress. So when we are looking at the student progress, you can click if you want to speak specifically just about, let's say, the code CVC words. Just click the other ones out, and you have just talking about that, and you run the report just on that. So you're going to discuss just about that particular topic, right? Let's say if you want to switch to math, and you can do the same thing into the other subject. We're going to go back to ELA. For the teachers that like to have, just to be on the safe side of the technology and print, they can just click download and print all the information that you need and save on your files. I prefer electronically like this because it looks organized, it's neat, and it's helpful that way. So it depends on what works best for you, but this is what works best for my organization skills. So let's take a look at the parent letter again. And another important detail here is you can see if you have already completed the assignments or not with all your students, which is important before you start scheduling your parent conference, right? So let's say here that I wrote some information about Logan Brown, right? And then I'm going to switch students. And now I'm going to talk about Benjamin. As I'm going to click on my letter, okay? And it says, Dear Miss Brown. Uh-oh, that's an important point. When you edit the parent letter, you always have to edit to check back and make sure that it has the name that is matching, the name of the student that is matching and that you want to communicate, and the name of that parent too. So you click on edit and you change from Miss Brown to Miss Campbell. Look through it and you make sure that the name of the student is matching. Let's look through it out. Look over here. Gotta change here too. And to see if the information is coherent with what you want to tell that particular parent, right? Not just changing the student's name, but checking to see if the information matches with what you want to discuss with that particular parent. You scroll up, you save, and there it is. Always double check that. When you click view, again, there are the details. Close. Back to the parent conferencer. And here, when you click, let's say, on the groups, right? You click on the groups and you can see if the group in general has finished testing or what's missing for this group. And on this part of the home page for the yellow group, it's going to show you, oh, they still have to test for inflectional endings. They still need to test for spelling patterns. So you're going to check which students are missing those assessments and make sure that they are all assessed. And that way you can organize and make a plan, a progress monitoring plan, according to the students' needs, and add the assessments that you would like to have each group of students to be taken, to be administered to. As you see over here on the left side, you have the groups, and you have all the students. This is a great tool that is going to be very helpful for you to manage the students, to manage the assessments that you are doing. So I'm going to move over here and show you one of the assessments that I have done with my class that I was able to add. And here it is. If I want to edit, so here you can see I can add questions, preview the test, and look how awesome is it. I can add the standards right over here on the left side, right? So you can have the standards connected to every test that you are assessing your students. There's a testing ID, there's the subject tab, right? The grade level, the subject area, and the description that you put it over here. So, and you can preview. So when they are taking this test, right, you have the test intro and you go to the test. So if the students, you're reading this to a student, or the student can read that to themselves, complete, and if the student does not get something correctly, there is a box that you can type it in information, and that information is going to show on the parent letter every observation that you wish to make, either just showing what answers the student has given you when you were assessing them, or if you would like to add information, to add more details, that is going to be on the parent letter. And that is very helpful for your parent conference, because the more details you have, especially if you have a student that there's a lot of needs, that needs a lot of assistance, you need to add more detail, because then that way you can provide them more help. The more detail you add, better it is, because you can inform the parent, and the parent will have a documentation of all the detailed information how to help their student. And that is great partnership, because we need the parents to chime in to help them at home. So the time that we are spending with them can be a time that is valuable, and that we know that they will have the support that they need at home too. So these are great tools that you can use for your small group. You can have specific tests for your groups, and those tests you can also use for your classroom, not just to assess as a group, but if you would like to use this as a grade, because you can see there's a standard here that you can use. You can do that. So it will make your life so much easier. You save and close because it's already done. If I want to create a new subject tab, I can do that too. So I really hope that this presentation has helped you to get some great tools to communicate with your parents, to expand how you use your small groups, to make things much easier for you, for parents, and for your students. And also the way you assess them, to make everything so much easier for you. Because with ESGI, you can make your life so much better. Remember that easy way to assess and to communicate with your parents.